Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something incredibly serious, a topic where being precise isn't just good, it can literally be the difference between life and death.
We're talking about accuracy in self-defense.
Exactly. We're going deep into shot placement, moving past just hitting a target to, hitting the right spot when it matters most.
Mm-hmm. It's about the intentional delivery of that shot, not just volume, but precision to neutralize a threat effectively and safely.
And for this deep dive, we're looking at insights from Velartech, they're a firearms training group. Their article, Shot Placement, Training for Accuracy Every Time You Shoot, is our main source here.
Right. Our goal is to really boil down the essential knowledge. What do you really need to know and train for when it comes to putting that shot exactly where it needs to go in a critical moment?
Okay, so let's start right there. What does Velartech actually mean by shot placement in this context? Why is getting it right so fundamental?
Well, they define it pretty clearly. It's the precise spot where the bullet hits, and the aim is specifically for vital areas, areas that will stop the threat immediately.
So it's not just about making contact, is it? It's about hitting those specific zones.
Exactly that. The article really stresses that when your life's on the line, the accuracy of your shot is the deciding factor. It's what separates just firing the weapon from actually stopping the threat.
And that efficiency seems key, not just for stopping the threat to you, but also, well, what about others?
Absolutely critical. Minimizing risk to innocent bystanders is huge. A well-placed shot achieves the goal directly. Misses, or poorly placed shots, they create enormous risks.
Yeah, that brings up the whole issue of collateral damage, and I imagine the legal side of things too. A stray round has consequences.
Huge consequences. Responsible self-defense is tied directly to your ability to shoot accurately. The article points out that well-aimed shots are much more likely to be seen as legally justified, a necessary response.
Okay, now, there's this common idea out there, you hear it a lot, that a bigger gun, a larger caliber, is automatically better for defense. But Velartech seems to push back on that.
They do, and it's a really important point. They argue pretty strongly that accuracy actually trumps caliber.
So a smaller bullet, placed correctly,
Can be just as effective, maybe even more effective, than a bigger round that hits somewhere non-vital. A .22 in the right spot versus a .45 in the arm. The placement is what stops the threat reliably.
that makes sense. It's about the effect, not just the size. So the article really zeroes in on center mass as the main target. Why is that the standard advice?
Well, think about it under stress. The center mass, the torso area, it's the largest part of the body containing vital organs. It gives you the highest probability of hitting something critical.
Compared to, say, a headshot.
Exactly. A headshot is a much smaller target and likely moving. Under extreme stress, your fine motor skills degrade. Hitting that small target consistently, it's incredibly difficult. Center mass is just a more reliable, achievable target in a chaotic situation.
So the practicality of hitting the larger zone outweighs the potential, maybe theoretical, decisiveness of a perfect headshot.
That's the core argument. It's about maximizing your chances of stopping the threat quickly and effectively under real-world duress. Center mass offers the best balance of vital target area and hitability.
We all know a static indoor range
Yeah.
is, well, it's nothing like a real confrontation. What does the article say about the factors that mess with your accuracy out there in reality?
Oh, yeah. The difference is massive. The article highlights several big ones. The huge dump of stress and adrenaline, for one. Then there's movement. You might be moving. The attacker is likely moving. And just the environment itself, obstacles, lighting. It's unpredictable.
All those things working against that precise shot placement you achieved on the range.
Right. It's a completely different ballgame. But the article also says that training, even in that controlled range environment, is still vital.
How so? If
It's
it's
so
so different.
Because it lets you build the foundation. You can focus purely on the fundamentals without all those other chaotic variables. Things like grip, stance, sight picture, and especially trigger control.
Trigger control. That seems to come up constantly.
It's absolutely fundamental. Any jerky movement on that trigger as the shot breaks will pull the shot off target. Smooth, consistent pressure is key. The range is the perfect place to isolate and perfect that.
So indoor ranges are good for drilling those core mechanics. Steady hold, smooth trigger press.
Exactly. And mastering sight alignment and aiming point techniques, really understanding how your sights relate to the target and applying that consistently every single time you press the trigger, that's what builds predictable accuracy.
Okay, we've established why center mass is general the target. Can we dig a bit deeper into the advantages the article lays out?
Sure. Beyond just being the largest vital area, hitting center mass increases the odds of impacting multiple organs or major blood vessels. This leads to faster incapacitation.
So statistically, it's just the best bet for a decisive hit under pressure.
Correct. And when speed is critical, aiming for that larger zone means faster target acquisition. You can get on target quicker and, if needed, deliver follow-up shots more rapidly and accurately to the same vital region.
And that contrast with headshots really drives it home.
It does. The article isn't saying headshots are never appropriate, but as a primary strategy under duress, the odds are stacked against you hitting that small moving target reliably. Center mass is the pragmatic, high-percentage choice for stopping the immediate threat.
Makes sense. The article must also talk about drills specifically for getting those consistent center mass hits,
Right.
especially quickly.
Oh, yes. Drills focusing on drawing and firing accurately into the center mass zone, often involving multiple shots like controlled pairs, building that speed and accuracy together.
Okay, let's talk movement. That seems like a huge complicating factor. How does the article suggest dealing with accuracy when either you or the threat is moving?
It's a major challenge, no doubt. The article acknowledges that static training doesn't prepare you for this dynamic. It talks about techniques for sheeting while moving, which is very difficult.
Like specific footwork or body mechanics?
Yes, and also leveraging technology. It mentions things like red dot sights, which can potentially help with faster target acquisition and tracking when things aren't stationary.
So adapting your gear can help, but the core skill still needs practice.
Absolutely. The article heavily emphasizes practicing movement drills, learning to shoot accurately while moving to cover or while engaging a target that's moving. It's not easy.
How do you even start training that?
Progressively. The article suggests starting maybe with larger targets, closer distances while moving slowly, and then gradually increasing the difficulty, smaller targets further away, faster movement as your skills develop.
And I assume the stress factor just skyrockets when you add movement.
Massively. Stress plus movement is a recipe for degraded accuracy. That's why the article keeps coming back to the need to train under stress, to inoculate yourself somewhat, to learn to perform despite the pressure and physical exertion.
Which leads us to that constant tension. Speed versus precision. How do you decide which one matters more in the moment?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The article suggests it's context-dependent. In very close quarters, what they call the deadly triangle, basically eyes to upper chest, sometimes sheer speed is critical to disrupt the attack immediately. An instant shot, even if not perfectly placed within that zone, might be necessary for survival.
But you can't just spray and pray.
Absolutely not. Speed should never completely override accuracy. Every shot still needs to be aimed with the intent to stop the threat. It's a balance.
So how do you train for that balance?
Through drills that demand both. Timed drills where you have to get accurate hits quickly, maybe competitive drills against others to push speed. But the foundation, as the article notes, is starting slow, getting the accuracy down pat, and then pushing the speed.
Building speed on a base of accuracy.
Exactly. And it also mentions the effectiveness of multiple controlled shots. Firing pairs or short bursts quickly but accurately into the center mass. This increases the probability of getting effective hits on target rapidly.
Okay, another environmental factor. Barriers and cover. How does using cover interact with trying to maintain accurate fire?
It adds another layer of complexity. The article stresses training specifically to shoot accurately from behind cover or around barriers. You have two goals at once. Hit your target and use the cover effectively for protection.
Without exposing yourself unnecessarily while you aim.
Precisely. It's not just hiding. It's fighting effectively from a protected position. The article mentions the principle, move, then shoot. Don't stay static, even behind cover, if you don't have to. But when you do shoot, accuracy remains paramount.
What kind of drills help with that?
Drills like shooting from various awkward positions behind cover, kneeling, leaning around vertical edges, maybe even under things. And importantly, drills that involve moving immediately after firing from cover to simulate a dynamic engagement.
All this really points away from just standing in a lane at the range. Scenario-based training seems crucial.
Hugely valuable, according to the article. It helps bridge that gap between basic marksmanship and applying skills under pressure in a realistic context. Using human silhouette targets, for example, adds a layer of realism.
It makes you react to a situation, not just punch holes in paper.
Exactly. And it should be progressive training. You build up skills, you incorporate realistic stressors, maybe time pressure, verbal commands, unexpected target movements, things that force you to think and perform accurately under pressure.
Because that stress really does impact performance, doesn't it?
Profoundly. Training under stress helps improve your reaction time, decision-making, and your ability to maintain that crucial accuracy when it truly counts.
Finally, the article touches on something really important, the legal and ethical side of shot placement.
Yes, and it's critical. Accurate shooting isn't just about effectiveness, it's about responsibility. The article makes it clear indiscriminate fire is never okay.
Every round has to be accounted for, legally and morally.
Absolutely. Controlled, accurate shots are essential for your safety and for ensuring your actions can be justified as necessary self-defense. Precision equals responsibility in this context. You have to know where your rounds are going and why.
Okay, so wrapping this up, if we distill Valortech's points, it really hammers home that accurate shot placement is everything in defensive shooting.
It really is. Accuracy matters more than caliber. Center mass is your go-to primary target because it's the most reliable under stress.
And training has to go beyond the basics. It needs to incorporate stress, movement, using cover. It needs to be varied and consistent.
That's the core message. Developing the skill to put rounds precisely where they need to go, intentionally and under pressure, is what effective self-defense with the firearm boils down to.
So here's the final thought, the question to really ponder. When that moment happens, fast, chaotic, terrifying, how would you actually perform? Does your current skill level, your training, truly prepare you to make those fast, accurate, justifiable shots under that kind of extreme pressure? Something worth thinking about very seriously. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.